Good afternoon, at least good afternoon where I am, and welcome to Truth Talks with Judy. Today, I just kind of want to talk. There's so much going on in the world right now, and I've really never spoken about the particulars of the politics and the things like that that's going around in the world. But it very much has to do with God and Jesus, and I really wanted to just talk to you about some really positive things. I know we look around in the world today and we're seeing, oh my gosh, a president that I believe with all of my heart, and it has been proven to me in many ways, a common sense most of all, that they cheated to get Biden into office. The things that he has done since he's been in the office, such as opening up the border. It sounds so sweet, like, the wonderful people that would have the opportunity to be a part of the United States, but unfortunately that's not that's happening. We're getting child sex trafficking, we're getting drugs galore, fentanyl, which is causing lots of death, the drug cartels. So that's one thing that's happened in this administration with Mr. Biden. Another thing is when they stopped the pipeline. Therefore, we are now oil dependent, whereas we were oil independent. Thus, the price of gas has skyrocketing. The inflation is out of control. It's especially troubling for the middle class, and depending on the industry you're in, everyone gets affected a little bit differently. The real reason that we have inflation is because the government prints as much money as they want. It's not a gold-backed dollar, so it's just basically tender that's being used now as good, but it has the value continues to go down the more we print. It's just like if you have 1,000 hotel rooms available, the price is going to be $50. Well, when it comes down, if you just have one left, they're going to raise the price because it becomes more valuable to people. So the same thing with money. The less money that is printed, the more valuable the money is. But the more money you put out there, the less valuable it is. And so the dollar in America, its buying power goes completely down. And you can see that. Of course, you can see that when we have an amount of money, how fast it goes. Literally, I will spend $100 on groceries and there's 10 items left. 10 items when I unpack my groceries. It's really, really concerning, especially for the middle class and, of course, the poor. So, we're really struggling in our country with the inflation. And then also, the president said that he's going to be raising taxes. He's hired 87,000 new IRS so that they'll be monitoring our taxes and looking at them more closely. And this is just going to hurt the middle class. This is that's who they're going after. Because the middle class is the strength of our country. Without the middle class, we have the very poor and the very rich. So that's what these people are not into making America great. They are into destroying America, the greatest country in the world, the greatest Christian country in the world. And they're not going to succeed. They are not going to succeed. They also sent billions over to Ukraine. When there are so many people in the United States that are homeless. And the idea behind Trump was to make America great again because we are the most generous country in the world. We are the most Christian country in the world. So when we make America strong, the other countries know that they'll be taken care of. And that's who we are, and that's what makes it so incredibly special. kind of looking at my notes here. Okay, so here's the good thing. These are incredibly good things that have happened. Now, I don't know about you, but when you heard that Roe versus Wade got overturned, did your jaw drop? Honestly, I could not believe it. I was absolutely thrilled. Really what it means is the federal government, by the Constitution of the United States of America, has no business making that ruling. It should go to the states. And as you will see, many of the states were like, absolutely no abortion, we're shutting it off. So that was absolutely tremendous, jaw-dropping. And then the Georgia Guidestones. If you don't know about the Georgia Guidestone, they're seriously satanic in what they say. They've been there for about 4 decades, I believe. And one of the things that their intent was to depopulate the world, so that the world population went from 7 billion to 500 million. So it's sort of a mockery of the 10 Commandments, because I believe there were like 10, I think there were 10 commandments for this Georgia Guidestone, very satanic, and it was blown up. I mean, it's just one of those moments where you just jump up and down, like we've waited so long and now things are happening. Things are actually happening. And then the only reason the president is able to pass all of these horrible things upon us is because most of the people in the Congress and the Senate are on the wrong side of the tracks. In other words, they are with this satanic cult. They really do worship Satan. And they are part of the cabal, that elite that wants to take over the world, this group of elite, and their goal is to take over the world, to depopulate. Sick. They're very sick. So hopefully you know a lot about the cabal, and if you don't, I beg you to do your research and just how evil they are. I mean, interestingly enough, this didn't stop from the days of Adam and Eve. They have been around that long, but it's just been in this last, it's really that I noticed since 1948, practically my whole entire life, that these Satanists and Satan have turned it on. And you can see, because I mean, the morality of our country's gone to pot. You know, from my parents' generation to my generation, is night and day. With the pornography, then they started the little teeny weeny bikinis and the short skirts and the, you know, love all and smoke pot and do psychedelics and, oh my gosh. And people moving into progressive religion where the Bible's not true anymore. Just, you know, where homosexuality and, you know, transgenderism are okay, and just totally unbiblical. So while I have compassion for those who have been deceived into believing that that's who they are, we've talked about that before. But just, you know, if you use just common sense, you can just track and see what's happened to our world. And I believe with all my heart we are living in the generation where God is going to make a major move, and he's moving right now. And one thing is that Trump has been, you know, some say he's still the president. A lot of secrets going on there, but he's been traveling all over the country, doing all kinds of rallies, getting people to support candidates that he chooses that are truly patriots, people that are fighting for our country, for our freedom, for our one nation under God and family. And so we can get the swamp, as they call it, out of Washington, D.C., and get some really good men and women in there that will make decisions based on the Bible, our Constitution, our nation, our children. And so we're really looking forward to that, unless they mess with the voting again, which we will come to see. But another good thing is there are some modern day prophets. And at first I had a little bit of trouble with that, but I'm like, why wouldn't we have prophets in our time when we so desperately need a word? And really the word of God in the Bible is the ultimate truth. But there's some wonderful prophets. One is Robin Bullock, Bullock. Amanda Grace. Kent Christmas is one. He's amazing. And then there's two other people that I highly recommend you look into. One whose name is Bo, B-O, Polney. P as in Paul, O, L as in lamp, N as in Nancy, Y as in yellow, Bo Polney. And he is able to take the Bible and predict things coming our way. You'd have to see it. It's really interesting. But he strongly believes that this evil government's going to be overturned soon. The fake money is going to be thrown out, i.e. the dollar, that our country is going to be going back to the gold-backed dollar, which means that there won't be any inflation or deflation. When it's backed by gold, gold doesn't change. The price of gold doesn't change. So if something is 30 cents today, it's going to be 30 cents 100 years from now. The whole thing with inflation came from all this money that wasn't backed by gold. So anyway, he highly recommends that we're investing our money in silver and gold. Personally, I've invested in silver. It's a lot less expensive than the gold. I think the gold is like $2,000 an ounce, whereas silver is $20 an ounce. So he is predicting once this fake money is overturned and we get a gold-backed dollar, that the price of silver and gold is going to skyrocket. So that's just a little tip for you. Please go listen to Bo Polney. You know, if you have a little extra money, after listening to him, I would say go ahead. I also recommend a company called Noble Gold. They have helped me and they're amazing. But I really believe, something has to happen. This cannot continue. Either God's going to make a move, and it has to be God. We can't do this alone. We can't do anything alone anyway. It's always everything we have, everything we are, everything we've been given is a gift from God. And so God is going to make a move, because it has to be. These people are so wicked that this just can't go on much longer. I mean, they have chips and things that they can do and implant us and become like cyborgs. It's just really creepy. It can't continue to go on. So I believe God is going to make a move, and that we could be living in a really wonderful time in our world. I believe we're all tired. I know I am really tired. I'm emotionally spent between, becoming born again in 2015 and having to just stand up for the truth and being rejected by my family and the loneliness that comes with that. And I lost my husband a couple of years ago, and I just have always thought that, God works all things for good who love him. And I think that I was basing all my happiness on my husband. And I know that because when I lost him, I really was just completely crushed. And so I've had to learn that God is the one that I put all my trust in. and it's been a long journey. And I know we all have. I mean, everyone has their story. This is a very, very tough time for Christians, and even for people who are asleep and don't know what's happening. They know it's tough. They know it's tough. And so I just want to make sure, we're going back to one nation under God. And, like as I said, when, Roe versus Wade was overturned and the Georgia Guidestones were burned up, and Trump is succeeding in getting all of his picks for, the Senate and the Congress. He's almost getting 100% for them to get through the primaries. So many things are looking up, but the wait is just so hard. It's so hard. So just hang in there, guys. God loves us so much, and it's perfect timing. And just take everything to prayer. Continue to pray in the gap for our brothers and sisters around the world who have been deceived by the wickedness. And just so much. I love my crew. I hope that you've learned something here, and I really hope that you will go and listen to Bull Pony, Robin Bullock, Kent Christmas. And there's one more I forgot. He's my new favorite. His name is Jim Brewer. B as in boy, R-E-U-E-R, I believe. He's a comedian, and he is very much a patriot, and he is hilarious. And I think there's one comedy that he did, I think it's called Somebody Had to Say It. It's an hour long. It's got 1 million views, so Americans are loving him, and he's just such a good man. So we all need a laugh, and he's very, very funny. So anyway, love you all. Hope that you learned a little bit of something here, and that you'll go and learn something from some of the greats that I found. Anyway, bye for now.